If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. Most of you are aware of the Illuminati card game. It's most famous for predicting and showing beforehand what happened in September 2001 on the 11th day of the month. Of course, I have to put it that way because of the algorithm on here. As it showed and depicted what happened with the towers, what happened in the Pentagon, as well as other events that have occurred. The BP oil spill, we saw that imagery. It even had Pizzagate, the secret pizza meeting. A lot of things are shown and revealed in this card game. And I want to take a look at how this card game is pretty much showing everything that's going on now with the outbreak. Now, if you're new to all of this, welcome to the show, to the circus. Because once you go down the rabbit hole, there's no going back. But this stuff is revealed to us before it happens. They run events like Event 201. They run simulations like they did in September of 2001, even in Boston during that marathon. That's what they do. They run simulations, they run tests, and they tell you beforehand through predictive programming that this stuff is going to happen. Now, let's take a look at the card game and some of the stuff that's going on in order so we can at least have an understanding of how this card game, which again has shown us so many things over the years, depicting the events that are going to occur. We'll start with the epidemic, right? You can see the quarantine. We've got our little mask and our gloves on there, right? Depicting that there would be an event like this that would occur. And of course, that leads into what? It leads into population reduction, which you can see here. And then other things that start to come out of it. The things that we're going to see come out of it now, like emergency powers. So they're talking about bringing in the National Guard, bringing in the military to stop this from happening, to make sure that everybody remains isolated, that nobody is being bad by leaving their homes, their self-quarantine homes. So you could see the emergency powers as well as martial law, which most of us believe it will lead to. Whether it's mandated or the people demand it and ask for it, one way or the other, it is very highly likely that you will see something along those lines. You also get the market manipulation, right? All of these things have led to what we're seeing now, which is this historic market crash, crashing the value of the dollar. Of course, this leads to electronic currency, the destruction of the value of currency, which we've seen over the years, even in the UK with Brexit. Now we're seeing the market manipulation here. Obviously, people think that the market is moved by, people and where they put money and pull money. It's all manipulated. It's the most rigged thing that there has ever been. I mean, there's nothing more, it's as fake as it gets. So obviously this was part of the plan to manipulate the market now with these events that are occurring and to completely crash it. Then the other things that come out of it, you see things like, I showed you the emergency powers. You see things like purge, right? And rioting and those types of things, which are things that haven't occurred yet, but are likely to happen as more people are quarantined, self-quarantined, wink, wink. As that continues to happen, more and more people are going to have a lack of resources. You see the talk about how financially people aren't going to be able to live. The unemployment rate is going to be through the roof, right? They're saying the government's going to send people checks. That's funny. We'll see. I got to see that to believe it. But even the amount that they send, they're claiming $1,000 per household or something like that. I don't know what world they're living in, but nobody can live on $1,000 a month. Somebody who pays rent, bills, grocery, has kids. What do you think this is for? Like a kid living at his parents' house where he can use the money and go buy some weed or whatever you would do with it, or go buy some video games and sit around. I mean, at real working people, $1,000 a month is $12,000. All right? It's not really helping anyone. So what that will lead to is this, the upheaval, the rioting, right? Because people will be desperate. And when people are desperate, they'll do whatever they have to do to protect themselves and their families, right? And again, I'm saying that something like this would occur because of manipulation through one of these foundations, whether it's Soros or somebody else, that starts creating these events around the country where you see rioting, you see looting and things like that, and then people start copying in because people are desperate. You hear these bogus stories about how everybody's running out and buying firearms because they're afraid that people are going to be looting and robbing their homes, right? The media is putting these seeds out there, these planted seeds, telling you that this stuff is going on. How would they know? Are they getting a phone call? CNN getting a phone call every time somebody buys a firearm? Suddenly, Bob's Firearms in South Dakota is calling up. Yep, we sold 3. Yep, we sold 5. Oh, and the statistics are just rising through. How in the world would they know? They're keeping track of this. They're telling you that this happened because they're preparing you for what you're going to see, what they're going to create with fake news, with propaganda, and the stuff that they show you, which should probably be filmed in a Hollywood studio, or at least with people hired off of these online, forums and websites. Hey, you wanna be a protester? $100, come here. People who now will have no money and no way of income because everybody's jobs are on hold, their lives are on hold. All right? So those are some of the cards that are in effect here, and there's many others. I mean, you could tie in some of the stuff we see going on with natural, look, all of the cards play a factor in the events we see around the world, from weather control, weather manipulation, right? We've seen the tornadoes. Now we're even hearing about an earthquake in Utah. But for this specific thing, look at all these cards that really fit in like dominoes falling. Here's your epidemic, right? What comes out of your epidemic is people pretty much self-quarantining themselves, the government calling in for the National Guard and the military, which is emergency powers, as well as martial law potentially, market manipulation, a total crash and destruction of the market, which could lead to an eventual upheaval and an eventual purge, right? People getting sick and tired of this stuff. Because remember, if people aren't convinced in like 3 weeks that something's really going on, because right now nobody knows what to do. People are in shock is what they are, because they're like, I can't believe this. They're telling me to work from home. Some people still getting paid, some people not able to work because they have construction jobs that require them to not be at home. And people are like, what? And then suddenly they go to the grocery store, they can't buy toilet paper to wipe their rear end. Suddenly you see, liquor stores shut down. You see all of these places, bars, restaurants, movie theaters, casinos, amusement parks, everything shutting down. People right now are just processing this. But if they don't see any results, if they don't see what they're telling us is happening in the next couple of weeks, if they don't see people plopping down and they're just sitting at home waiting for someone to do something, they're going to get pissed. They're going to get mad. And that's what could lead to a potential purge, but certainly an upheaval, whether manipulated and controlled by them or not. Like I said, monkey see, monkey do. People see these protests and these things, these SJW type events, which are bought and paid for, and then they want to join in, or they do join in because of the manipulation, because they're under mind control. They think these are actual activists who are doing whatever they can to help their country. I don't know what that accent was, but you understand what I'm saying. So the card game that has shown us all of these things has obviously shown us this. This was one that we've all been talking about for a long time. We've obviously seen nothing but predictive programming talking about an outbreak occurring from people like Bill Gates constantly warning us that it's going to come because they knew it was going to come. And now they can step in like heroes and say, I told you it was going to come. Let's all run to Bill Gates as he steps down from Microsoft, and he's going to give us the solution, which we're all going to have to stick in our arm or stick in our body. And like I said in previous videos, if you haven't heard me, that is going to be mandated. You are not going to be able to travel. You are not going to be able to leave, maybe even your state. Who knows how ridiculous they'll make it, without some type of certified license from the government that says that you have gotten it. Otherwise, you can't go on vacation. You can't go visit family, right? They'll pressure people to the point where they have no choice, squeeze them to death. So they have to do this. Pretty sad, pretty scary. But that's the card game. Those are some of the cards that show what's going on. I'll keep you posted on the things that I see going on. Obviously, minute by minute, there's a lot more shutdowns, a lot more lockdowns going on around the country, a lot more manipulation. Again, if you want to see and interact with people talking about this stuff and what's going on in their town, check out my website at callforuprising.com. $2.99 a month. Well worth it. Keeps the site running. There's free speech over there. Feel free to post any images, videos that you have in your town or you want to talk about, or videos that you made yourself over there. Feel free. You can interact with other people, direct message, live chats. There's all sorts of stuff. I upload videos there as well. So check it out if you haven't. I want to thank you guys for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.